They laughed when the janitor spilled water near the executive table. Some people are just born to clean up after the rest of us. She bent down quietly and apologized. But 30 seconds later, the CEO walked in. He stopped in front of the janitor and said one word, "Mom." Titan Global's 25th anniversary shimmered beneath crystal chandeliers. The ballroom glowed in gold, champagne flowed, laughter echoed, and power moved quietly from table to table. Moving silently between them was Margaret Cole, 62 years old, small frame, gray uniform, a presence most people never noticed. At the center table sat Victor Hale, regional director, ambitious, confident, and very aware of his position. From where Margaret stood, she could see exactly who respected others and who didn't. When she reached across the table to wipe a small spill, her sleeve brushed against a glass. Water tipped, just slightly. Victor leaned back in his chair, smirked, and said loudly, "Careful? That watch costs more than your yearly salary." A few executives chuckled, then laughed. The sound wasn't loud, but it was sharp. Margaret lowered her head. I'm sorry, sir." Her voice steady, her hands calm. But in her eyes, there was no shame, no anger, only patience. The kind built over decades. Years earlier, in a small apartment across town, a young boy studied under a dim lamp. Books stacked high, dreams even higher. While he studied, his mother worked. Late nights, empty offices, silent hallways. She counted every dollar carefully, every tip, every overtime shift. Not for herself, for him. And when the bank said no, she handed him an envelope, her entire savings. No hesitation, no contract, just belief. Investors dismissed him, laughed at his pitch, said the idea was too ambitious, too risky, too unrealistic. But Margaret placed her hand on his shoulder and said, "Build it anyway." Back in the present, a black luxury sedan pulled up to the hotel entrance. The doors opened. Inside sat Ethan Cole, founder, CEO, self-made billionaire, but not self-made alone. Inside the ballroom, the laughter continued, unaware. Then the doors opened. Golden light spilled across the floor. Conversation softened. Ethan stepped inside. Guests straightened. Victor adjusted his jacket, ready to impress. But Ethan wasn't looking at him. He walked past the investors, past the executives, and stopped directly in front of the janitor. The room grew quiet. His expression softened. Pride, gratitude, love. Victor frowned in confusion. Daniel lowered his glass. No one understood what was happening. Then Ethan wrapped his arms around her and said softly, "Mom." The silence was immediate, heavy. Victor's confidence disappeared. His smile faded. His posture shifted. Ethan turned calmly. "This woman built this company before any of you arrived. She invested when no one else would. She owns 12% of Titan Global." Victor tried to speak, but it was too late. Titan Global has zero tolerance for disrespect. Security stepped forward, and the same room that laughed minutes earlier watched in silence. Later that evening, on a quiet balcony overlooking the city, Ethan stood beside his mother. The lights below shimmered. He handed her a small envelope, a deed, a lake house, fully paid. "You've worked enough," he said. Margaret smiled softly. "You were always the real investment, And inside that ballroom, no one ever looked at a janitor the same way again. Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the reason the room exists at all.